fruits as well as retribution. While Trivikrama Bharati and all present listened with rapt attention, Siddhamuni begins narrating Gurunath's explanations. This is a very, very important lesson. I will request everyone, those who are listening to this satsang, please listen with rapt attention. Again, thank you for joining the Guru Charitra Parayan. Wishing you all a very happy Thursday, happy Guruvar. Om Shri Mahaganapate Namaha, Om Shri Gurudev Datta, Om Shri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Digambara Digambara, Shripad Vallabha Digambara, Om Shri Krishna Guru Nathanatha, Shri Guruve Namaha, Om Devi Durgaya Namaha, Om Shri Krishna Arpanam Namastu, Krishnam Vande Jagat Guru. The caste in which one is born is determined by his past karmas, that is, actions and conduct. Good actions lead to higher birth. Births in higher castes and sinful and bad actions lead to births in lower castes or even in subhuman species. Oh my God. Okay, I'm going to reread this once again and then give the understanding what Gurunath is teaching here. The caste in which one is born is determined by his past karmas, actions and conduct. What does this mean? Please remember, every time when you are performing an action, the action could be by in real action, thoughts, deeds and words as well. Now, whatever that you're saying, whatever that you're doing determines what kind of a future life that you're granting yourself. So what is he saying here? Good actions lead to higher birth. Births in higher castes. What does this mean? Lord Shri Krishna has very beautifully explained that when you do good karma, when you are always on the path of goodness and sattva, you will be born in a pious womb and affluent family, which means there will be no dearth for wealth, there will be no dearth for your education, everything will be taken care of while you are being born in an affluent family, and you are going to have a pious womb where you will be able to evolve on the path of spirituality. That is well determined. So when you perform only good kritya means all good actions, you have to always think good about everybody. It doesn't matter. See, as a human nature, our lower nature is to, be angry or want to, get even with people, those who have done bad to us. That's our belief. Somebody has done bad to you. According to your own belief system, yeah, bad happens. But like my Krishna Guruji says, the way to overcome this karma determines how you respond to that action. If somebody is doing bad to you, it's your response that determines whether you're getting into a karmic bondage with that person or you will be able to overcome that karma. You are able to override the karma. How can you override the karma? By not getting even with that person or even saying anything. That is why in spirituality, we are taught to keep silent and not react to what's happening around us. See, the human nature or the lower nature of this human mind is to react, is to call names, or if somebody gives you 2 tight slaps, you want to give back 10 slaps. Then that is going to continue to eternity. You are never going to be out of that bondage at all. See, karma is a repayment. Every action of yours is a repayment. Please remember. How do you nullify that repayment? The only way to nullify is by you becoming good. You not reacting. It's the way in which you respond to anything determines how you can overcome karma. See, many a time when the Gurujis, the great masters tell you don't react, don't say some things, don't say bad, there is a reason for what they are saying and why they are saying. They are not taking the side of other people. He knows. You think the Guru doesn't understand the intent or whatever that is happening around you, around him. He knows everybody. He knows your mind, he knows everybody else's mind, because he is the universal mind. He's the only know what's happening and what's going on. But please remember, the Guru just lets things be, because everybody has to learn in their own capacity. But if a Guru is correcting you, please remember, he's doing you a big favor. On the contrary, you are blessed to, you're very much blessed, because he is correcting you. Why? Because he doesn't want you to he doesn't want you to get into that karmic bondage with anybody in this world. But he's not doing the same for other people. So you need to be very thankful that your master is correcting you. He's not telling you don't do this. He lets you make those mistakes. Many a time the Guru lets you fall. Not because he wants you to get hurt or anything. On the contrary, he wants you to learn and understand not to make that mistake once again. It is a lesson. Till you don't get the lesson, sometimes the hard way. See, the human way to learn is only when they fall a few times will they understand, okay, now I shouldn't do this. Till they don't burn their finger, they are not going to understand that you're not supposed to do something, you're not supposed to touch something that is hot. This is our human nature. It's like a dog's tail which doesn't want to change, which doesn't want to straighten out. So the Gurus will allow you to make those mistakes so that you can learn, you can overcome. He teaches you what you should not do with practical experience. But please remember, it is very important that you have to consciously make an effort not to get into some things that he has already warned you from not doing, which is do not go, don't open that door, or don't go into a particular subject, don't do something. He's always warning you. Why do you think he's warning you? Because this is the reason. Good actions lead to higher births in higher caste, and sinful and bad actions lead to births in lower caste or even in subhuman species. Why do you want to get into this? You want to go into further gutters? Then you can call names, you can do whatever you feel like, whatever your mind is telling. Please remember, the reason why you are being born again and again is because of your mind. Your mind is the root cause of why you have been born in certain families, why you have taken birth in the low caste family. Why? Because you have done some bad kritya in your previous births. That is why you have come back into that family so that you can repay. It's an association to those people, that bodily father, mother, sister, whosoever concerned. The reason you are born in that womb is because of your past karmas. That means you have done something really bad in your previous lives. That is why you have been born there. So how do you sanction yourself a pious womb in the future lives? By being good in this life, good actions, good thoughts. Yesterday, my Krishna Guruji gave a very beautiful satsang from Samarth Ramdas Maharaj's Das Bodh. You must go listen. And in that, he was talking about how whatever that you say, the good and the bad, both are the qualities of the Atman. But why are you getting contaminated with that? When you just stay away, when you don't get influenced by what is going around in your world, and when you go in seclusion, when you become silent, when you cogitate and go inwards, then what is happening around you will not affect you. But the problem with us is we go outwards. We let our mind latch on to everything that is happening around us. Some people are saying something, somebody is misbehaving with us. It affects, we can see it. Why are you seeing any of those things? You are not understanding the truth. Whether it is good and the bad, both are the qualities of the Atman. But Atman itself is a sinless being. It's something that you can't even catch. How do you know where is Atma? Paramatma we say. Param Atma, which means there is only one Atman, which is the divine being. How do you realize that? The only way to realize is that when you become that Atman yourself. And how do you become that Atman? Is by overcoming your mind, ego, senses, body, three gunas, and transcending beyond that and going beyond the delusions of Maya. And what is Maya? Maya is oh look, that person is saying something to me, that person is writing like this, that person is favoring somebody else, that person is going against me, somebody is my enemy is going with another enemy of mine, so who wants to get even to me. All this is the creation of the mind. Why? Because you're seeing what the other person is doing. How should it matter? When you understand you're not this body, you are that Atman, Paramatman, you are that Parabrahma yourself, you are that spirit, you are that self, then where is the question of what anybody does has to matter to you? This is what is not being understood by us, even if you have the knowledge. This is what is the problem. Why? Because we are letting our mind become strong. We are like succumbing to the mind. No, the thing that you need to control is the mind. Why should you react to how things happen? Why somebody is saying something? Does it even matter? That's exactly what my Krishna Guruji was teaching yesterday from the Samat Ramdas Maharaj's beautiful chapter on how do you live? How do you be? What is that you're not supposed to do? How do you focus in your own spiritual being rather than wasting your time and somebody else's time too? How much effort are you putting in? Like, my Krishna Guruji will say, see, your mind comes in. I am supposed to wake up at a certain hour. Invariably, every week, at least 1 or 2 days, my mind will come and it will not allow me to wake up. What happens if I do not put that extraordinary effort? I am succumbing to my mind. Why is this happening? You will say, oh yeah, she is in spiritual, she herself is not disciplined. It's not about being in spiritual that becomes disciplined. It's about being in the spiritual, and you need to evolve the path of disciplining and putting your efforts in doing the sadhana. Sadhana is a practice. It doesn't happen overnight. It's not so easy. Spirituality doesn't mean I live with my Guruji, I am there with him for 12 years or I have learnt with him. Doesn't mean anything. It is about my own self-effort. My master, my Krishna Guruji can only take the horse to the water. He can teach me. He can guide me. But at the end of the day, I have to drink the water. I have to walk that path with him. The doership lies with me, not with my Guru. The Guru is only a pointer. He's a guide. He's your helpsman who will guide you, who will cross you across the shore. But doing that, putting that effort is yours. It's only rests with each individual. So he was telling about how much effort do you put in opening a scripture and reading it. He says, when we say, I'm sorry. So he was telling about every year we have to study the scriptures. Like example, when we say Sai Sat Charitra Parayan, what were you saying? Parayan means you have to read. It is not about somebody else reading. You have to read it so many times that you have to cogitate. What exactly is Baba telling? What is he teaching? So you can pick up any scripture and make an effort to study every day. It is still you don't put that effort. How will you evolve on the path of spiritual? How will you perfect yourself? That knowledge has to open up. It has to sink in. You have to cogitate. You have to understand. So that's what he was saying. It's not about the Guru spoon feeding you. It's about you putting that effort to learning and going ahead. Today he says in the Kali Yuga, we all want it on a platter. We don't want to put efforts. See, because that is simply because we're driven by tamas, lethargy, inertia. We don't want to do. If things are not happening the way we want it, then immediately our mind shuts off. It doesn't want to then attempt doing anything at all. Why? Why is that? Because that is the yuga. That is that is what is going to happen in this yuga. But for those who are on the path of spiritual, it is an opportunity for us to overcome that. It is about how much of effort can you put in overcoming that. Don't think like, there are people who will say that, I want to do something like this. It has to be something, this way, that way. At the end of the day, please remember, everything is actually going to happen by the will of the Divine Lord alone. The Lord has already programmed, predefined. The path is already laid out for you. You are just going to walk that path. There is nothing like you are trying to do something or not do something. This is what people don't understand. We think we are responsible for what is happening or what is not happening. See, doership alone rests with you. But the outcome of what is going to happen or not happen is not in your hands. And simple example I tell you. Many a time, in Krishna Ashram, an example, we are here to serve the master. Ashram, we don't have maids. We are not going to have any people who is going to come and do work for us, because In the ashram, it is taught about you have to do every task yourself so that it is a seva to the guru. In the ashram, we don't have maids. But many a time, we said, okay, we come to a point where say, okay, we'll have maid. Let us bring a maid. But every time we make attempt to that, it has never happened. But that doesn't mean that it's not going to be, we don't know. See, our job is to try. If some things are meant to happen, it will happen. If it is not meant to happen, it is nothing to do with us. When the maid has to come, she will come. When the divine Lord knows, okay, now you need to have a maid, he will on his own send that maid for you. This is how his universe works. It is not you and me telling what is going to happen, how it is going to happen, or when it is going to happen. It is not for us to determine that. And also, those who have to come to meet the Guruji, they will on their own come at the right time. Similarly, if somebody has to listen to satsang, they will listen. Why? Because they are destined to get that knowledge. Everything happens at the will of the divine Lord alone. We are nobody to tell how things has to be, how it has to be. See, doing alone rests with you. The doership rests with you. Doing is your job. That alone is what you have to do. But don't determine how things has to be. It is never for us. We can plan what we want. At the end of the day, what has already been predefined, that is exactly what is going to happen. Many a time, see what, I'll tell you my own example. I had a lot of dreams about my own life, how I want to lead, what I want to do, and too many things. Beyond a point, when things don't happen, you get dejected. You feel completely let down. And then what happens? Then you feel completely disgusted with this world. You give up on the world. But was that the way the divine Lord had programmed? Actually not. See, he knows what is right for you. He knows when to give you what. But as a human being, we believe we need it at a certain time. The time factor. You know what? We determine the time factor when it's concerning God. But what about you? Do you do things in time for God? This is the question we all have to ask ourselves. Are we doing things in time for the divine Lord Almighty? No, we procrastinate, but we expect the God to give everything for us in time. We'll say, okay, I wanted to go to America when I was 21, 25, whatever, and live my life. I want to see the world at 25 and 30. Today I am getting old. I am not able to go travel the world. What use is it when you give me when I am 50 years old? So this is how we tell God. But what about you? Are you doing things in time so that God can work in tandem with, when according to your time? No, we don't. We don't keep our commitment with the God. And so my Krishna Guruji was giving a very beautiful satsang this morning. He said, you know what? There are people in this world who are very disciplined, they are driven, they're trying to do something. They're driven by two important factors, which is lust and greed. He said, even in the past, you were also driven that you had a great dreams. You wanted to become somebody rich, you wanted to become a CEO of a company, you wanted to do so many things. So you were driven. So you would work till 9, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, you would work on the weekends, you would do too many things. Why? Because you were driven by two important factors which you wanted to accomplish, and that is lust and greed. What is a greed? I want to become a CEO, I want to earn money, I want to become the richest. Everybody dreams the same thing. Everybody is driven by these two important key factors in our life, that is lust and greed. So when you come on the path of spiritual, you understand the futility of all of that. And then what happens? There is no other driving factor. The only driving factor is the divine Lord Almighty. Then whatever you're doing it for the divine. Please remember, you're serving His purpose. Then the goal, destination and the path becomes Him alone. Like what Lord, Jesus Christ has said, I am the way, I am the path, I am that destination. So your goal is one, your destination is one, and the path that you're going ahead is also one. So what else is there for you to achieve? You just have to be the best tool in the hands of the divine Lord. That is what you have to become. But it is very difficult to be that. Why? Because we don't want to give up our ego. Becoming the clay in the hands of the divine Lord is what we have to accomplish. When you become submissive, when you give up your ego and become the clay in the hands of the Guru, and then he will make the beautiful, he will mold you in the most beautiful structure, that which he wants to give you, and then you become that. He can mold you into that becoming some very divine being, and he can give you a name. That is what the guru does. So it is he who then defines you. That is why he said, when you meet the guru, when you come to the guru, the real master, then you have to discard everything, your previous life, everything you have to discard, and then you come to the guru. The guru gives you a new name, new garb, everything. Then he defines you. Then you become the guru putra and the guru putri. Then he lays down what is the right things for you, what should you do, what should you not do. He determines your entire life. He tells you exactly what are the things that you have to do in your life. So that is what the guru does. But are we even capable? Yes, we want to get initiated, we want to be on the path. But when you come on the path, you have to follow certain diktats of the guru. Because that is how you will be able to, go ahead in the path of spirituality. But what happens to the human beings are, we are incapable to do so. We don't want to do. We give in to saying, okay, why should I listen to the guru? Why should I do this? The mind comes in. The mind wants to do its way. Please remember, once you are surrendered to the Divine Lord Almighty, the Guru, there is no other way. There is only one way. That is the way of the Divine Lord's way. The way of his life. The way, the path, again I say, the destination, everything is him alone. So where is that you're trying to run away? You can't. The thing is, either you have to be in spiritual or completely be in the material world. You can't do both. But for doing both, you have to become spiritually perfect. Like Ramakrishna Paramahamsa Ji has mentioned in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, that you have to live like a tadpole amphibian, who can live on the land and in water too. So likewise, you have to live both in the spiritual world and the material world, but the material world is not going to affect you. You're completely detached, you're dispassionate, and you are able to discriminate. What does discriminate mean? You're able to understand everything that is happening in the material world is unreal. You're just playing a role. You're only a character in that whole beautiful canvas of the Divine Lord Almighty. Who is the director, who is the actor himself, who is the story writer, who is the screenplay. He does everything, and he's also the hero in his own story, in his own movie. He's the hero himself, and he comes and plays that part. How beautiful it is. So you are acting along with him. That is the truth about this material worldly existence. And when you have the grace of the Guru, listen to him and go ahead. Please remember, the Guru is telling you how to overcome your karmas and how to not commit further karmas and add to your bank account. The futuristic. You don't want to do that. So here it's saying, good actions lead to higher birth. Births in higher castes, and sinful and bad actions lead to births in lower castes or even in subhuman species. Brahmin is predominantly of sattvic, of pure, serene and tranquil temperament. He has a special duty and role in the society. He is the spiritual custodian of the people of all communities. What is the role of a Brahmin? Again, we are talking about the knowers of Brahman. But when we say Brahmin in the material worldly sense, we have four castes. Brahmin, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras. Actually, there's also a fifth caste which I'm not going to talk about. But Lord Shri Krishna has says there is a caste which is beyond Shudra and others as well. But that's not something we are going to talk about. And I know people do not like this caste system, but please remember, this is part of our Vedas. That is how they have been defined. Everybody has taken birth from the different parts of the Divine Lord Almighty. And then they have got the specific designation, specific work, specific role already predetermined and defined by the Divine Lord Almighty, born of that nature. The nature is given to them when they are born by Prakriti. So who are we to say that, caste system shouldn't be followed? Not exploiting. Caste system is not there to exploit or degrade somebody. Please remember, everybody is meant to be in a particular place. Everybody is perfect in their place. They're all there to play a certain role. So we are not supposed to talk lowly about anybody or even highly about anybody. Everybody is given their path. Can we just focus and do what is expected out of us? Instead of trying to do comparison, who is high, who is low, who is trying to make judgments about all of that? It is your mind. So stop this judgment. Somebody is high, somebody is low. No, you don't have to say all of that. So here it's saying, so the Lord has defined what is the responsibility of each of these people in our world. So Brahmin is predominantly of sattvic quality, which is of pure, serene and tranquil temperament. Oh my God. Do we even have this kind of pure, serene, tranquil temperament? No. We are always at like loggerheads with someone, we want to immediately react, respond. Our reactions are very bad. Why? Because we are not tolerant today. We don't have patience today with anybody. We always think that we either like somebody or dislike somebody. The moment your mind dislikes someone, then everything that that person does, or says, it's only going to appear wrong to you. We can't see it in a different perspective at all. The tolerance is not there. Even someone makes a mistake. The greatest of the divine beings are known divine because they forgive, they are compassionate, they understand that the other person is ignorant. So even see, you also make mistakes. So why can't you forgive? Forgiveness is godliness. That is why they are gods and we are human beings. So he has a special duty and role in the society. He is the spiritual custodian of the people of all communities. He has the great responsibility of looking after the spiritual well-being of all. So what is a Brahmin's job? Here Narasimha Saraswati is very beautifully explaining. He says he is the spiritual custodian of the people of all communities. He has the great responsibility of looking after the spiritual well-being of all, just as it devolves on the eldest son in the family to take all care and responsibility for the material and general well-being of his younger brothers and sisters in the family. So see, this is all norms of the material worldly life, how in a society it is looked upon. Here is saying he has the greater responsibility of looking after the spiritual well-being of all, just as it devolves on the eldest son in the family to take all care and responsibility for the material and general well-being of his younger brothers and sisters in the family. These were the norms of the society at some point in time. Yes, as per even our scriptures, it is mentioned that the elder son in the family has to be the caretaker, like the custodian. The Brahmin is the spiritual custodian. And he has to ensure the spiritual well-being of all people, just like the elder son in the family, who has to shoulder the responsibility of taking care of his parents, his younger brothers and sisters. But is that the case? Today, the son doesn't take care of the parents. He doesn't even care whether they are there or not. All he cares about is, I want the wealth. I need my parents' wealth. That is what they're all there today. Today, this is a Kali Yuga. Please remember, a daughter is more a son and everything in this world. She runs this world. She runs the family. She takes care of. She goes to work. She bears children. She takes care of the children and she does so many things. Today, a daughter is much greater than any son in this world. And I don't know why in our society we have given so much importance to a son. Son, what is the son all about? Somebody who doesn't even care about their parents? I'm sorry, this is where we have evolved. And today it is Kali Yuga. It is the Kali's Yuga. She is on the rise. Every woman needs to understand who she is. She is the divine goddess. Get up and, take your place. Whether it is in the boardroom or whether it is, in the kitchen or wherever you think you deserve. There is nobody who has to give you your position. You deserve it. You have to just do your job and show you don't even have to prove your worth to anybody. You're capable. See, this is what we don't understand about a woman. Our society was determined by different yugas. So women were meant to be in a certain position. In the previous yugas, she was not going out to work. But today, women have come on the forefront. They are going to work. They are doing everything. They believe they are much more capable. And of course, yes, why not? She is the Devi herself. She is the Durga Ma. She needs to understand and she rightfully deserves her position. So who is there to say that, the son is greater than a daughter? But today in our society, we still have this discrimination. Why is the discrimination between a son and a daughter? There shouldn't be any discrimination. Is the son has got two horns or what? I do not understand. A woman is far more capable. See, understand one very important thing here. We are not talking about the supremacy of a woman over a man. We are not even comparing. See, the woman doesn't even have to prove her worth to a man. What we are talking about here is very different. The woman is already capable. My Krishna Guruji yesterday gave a very powerful lesson. In that, you know what he's saying? See, till you don't do something and unravel your own potentials, you don't know that the God-given capability is within you. How will you know that? Till you don't do. Many a time, my Krishna Guruji, you know, he'll push lot of people, his disciples, saying you can do this, you can do this. Why? Because we have never tried. We have limited ourselves. We have not understood this potentials, the power within us which is God bestowed upon us. We don't know. He gave a very beautiful example from a technology. He says this body is a hardware and there is software in that. You know, many a time, even you take an example of your iPhone, we don't know. We have a beautiful iPhone which is like high end, and it has got so many different features. It has got different softwares within it which does many functions. It has lot of capabilities. But till we don't go and unravel that or use the phone, how do we know that the feature is there which can be used for a very specific purpose? And why are we then buying such a powerful phone? Similarly, he gave an example about this body is like that hardware and it has the software. The software is the potencies, the power within you, the divine potencies. But till you don't go study it or use it, how do you know how the software works and how you can do the job using that particular power? So that is what he said. So likewise, whether it is a man or a woman, you don't have to discriminate between these two gender. Please remember, the man has his position, his duties, his nature. The man is made for a certain purpose. The woman has been made in her way for her purpose. Who has brought this comparison and who has treated a woman badly? It is because we have always given that as man is supposed to be superior than a woman. There is nothing like that. Today, there is no need of a man if a woman has to have a child. Please remember, we have already entered into an era and an age where women no longer needs a man, even for her to get satisfied or for her to have a baby. She can have a baby when she wants. Today, she can be very independent. She doesn't need any man in her life. I took the decision of not wanting to get married. You know, the whole world were against me. The society was saying, you're going against the societal norms. You know, what will the society talk about? Oh my God, the same society was telling, you know, the people in my world associated in the society were talking bad about me. But why should I listen to anybody? It is my choice that I don't want to get married. Is there anybody who can stop me? Why should I succumb to somebody else's decisions in life? I am capable of living my own life. I don't need any support system or I don't need anybody to determine how I have to live. Why should, you know, this body's parents or anybody dominate me? Why should they dominate? See, of course, we respect our elders. That doesn't mean that somebody can keep dominating you or trying to say you have to do like this. I am not a slave. I am not a slave or a servant of anybody just because somebody has given me birth. Same goes for you. You are not a servant of your husband, children, you know, anybody. No. You have, everybody, you have to respect them. But at the same time, if you get treated like that, it is you who have allowed them to treat you. So you have to rise, you have to fight, you have to empower yourself to get out of that. This is the truth. So here, we are not against a man or we are not against a woman. We are not talking a supremacy over a man. What we are telling is, we deserve our position. If I want to become a pilot, I am free to do so. Who is supposed to tell a woman cannot become a pilot? Is there anywhere in the rule written? Who has given anybody the right to say that? Oh, like example, somebody told me, you know, you have to take up a bank job and, you know, you are supposed to get married and have children. So you will have more time with your family. Who the hell has told you that that is going to be my life? I am not going to do a bank job and become some doormat in somebody's house to my children, husband material, I'm sorry to say that, to some husband or father-in-law, mother-in-law. No, I was not even willing to do that. I am married, my Lord Shri Krishna. Like when a nun in the Christianity, she goes and becomes a nun, she commits her life. She says, I am marrying Jesus Christ. I want to serve the Master. Similar is my life. I am married to Lord Shri Krishna. I am committing my life in His service. So is there anything wrong? Oh, everybody are thinking that I have done some greatest sin. I am sorry, on the contrary, I have done the greatest good that any mankind can ever have seen. Why shouldn't I become divine? Who's stopping this? Who's saying that I have to follow the societal norms, that I have to get married and I have to have children? Is anywhere written that that is what it is? No. I am allowed to live my life the way I want. When if I am living a God-pleasing life, why is it a big problem for people in this world? So who's determining? Who has determined that this is how we have to live? On the contrary, I am doing a greater good for this entire body's family and everybody around. 7 generation upwards and 7 generation downwards are getting redeemed. I don't have a single bad habit. I don't drink, smoke, anything. I'm only thinking about God day in and day out. So where is the question of me going on any wrong path? People do all sorts of things and yet they think that is the right thing to do. Why? Just because I didn't follow the societal norms? So you call names? Is that what it is? No. The point here to make is that everybody has a job. You are allowed to do that as long as it is not going against our dharma. As long as you are on the path of dharma, you don't have to be afraid of anybody in this world. Why do we today still a woman is treated bad in this world? Why? Because they have let themselves to be treated like that. So who needs to get empowered? You have to rise above and empower yourself to be that goddess and do what you have to do. We are not against any male. We are not running a feminist organization, or I'm here not talking about anything feminism. On the contrary, I'm telling, a woman is beautiful. She's the goddess in her own way. She is perfect. We are not even competing against a man, because a woman is unique in her own way. She is that powerhouse of potentials. So she has to unravel and empower herself. That is all we are talking about. We are not against anybody. But when she gets treated in a certain way, then she has to stand up and fight. Why can't I get my position in the boardroom? Who is that people to say that, she is looked down upon? Even today I find this discrimination in our corporate world. Yesterday I was talking to somebody from one of my colleagues, not from my world, but one of my partner's organization. And he was telling, today we are trying to identify some of the greatest of the women leaders who are working very quietly. Nobody knows their existence, that they are there. Why? Because they are a woman. Nobody wants to talk about them. So that is not right. So this person was doing a nice work. He was trying to talk to these women and understand how they have evolved in their career or whatever that they have achieved, and showing them, giving them a platform to talk about their journey, their story as well. So it is very loving to hear that. So that's all I'm talking about. So we are not comparing a man versus a woman. Please remember, everybody is perfect in the world of the divine Lord Almighty. God has created them so that they have to do certain tasks. But who is this who has used a mind trying to say somebody is superior over somebody is inferior? See, everybody is perfect in their places. They all have been given their duty, which is born of their nature. They are born of a specific class, and that class, we are not talking about the class here, that is determined by the divine Lord Almighty. So we are nobody to judge his decision. He has to observe strict discipline, perform all the prescribed rituals as per Vedic injunctions, and his conduct should be a model and example to all others. His daily rituals are for the well-being of all. For that high purpose, the Brahmin has to consecrate his entire life. That was why Brahmins of yore were ranked as equal to gods. Why was Brahmin given that position? See, this is so beautifully explained by Narasimha Saraswati. He's telling, the Brahmin has to observe strict discipline, perform all the prescribed rituals as per Vedic injunctions, and his conduct should be a model and example to others. See, that is very important. And this morning again, my Krishna Guruji gave a very beautiful lesson on this. He was telling me, remember, he's saying, Rajma, if you by any chance, if you do not, you have to set an example. So how would you do? You have to become extremely disciplined. And you have to yourself follow. You know why? Because there are other people watching you. And if you fail to do so, they will say, oh, she only doesn't do that. Why should I do? It's very easy to finger point at the Guru, See, my Guruji is the epitome of perfection. Nobody can be him. Nobody can beat him. Because he is who he is. He's a knowledge incarnate. He's Sachidanand. He's Lord Shri Krishna. You can't even, touch one dot of his level of life. The way of life he can live. It's very, very difficult. So today we are all very mediocre. Like my Krishna Guruji says, I don't want mediocre people. You have to become the high performer. You have to be that. So he gave me a peace of mind. Why aren't you, waking up at a certain time? Why are you succumbing to your mind? Who's telling you? It says you have to put extraordinary effort. See, these are the tests that is going to come. You have to work doubly hard. Put more effort. If you think that effort is not important, put more effort. Your mind is going to become even more stronger, but you have to overcome. You have to override your mind. He says, when the divine is with you, what makes you think you are not able to overcome? You will be able to overcome. This is what even Lord Shri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. He says, it is my conviction that you will be able to control the mind, but you have to put the effort. The sadhana, that effort is extremely important. Extraordinary effort, arduous effort, deep sadhana. That is what is required. And today when you don't do that, it's very easy to sit here and give exposition. But the most important thing is living this lesson. Myself and everybody else have to live that lesson themselves too. I can't walk your path, you can't walk my path for me. We all have to walk our own path, which is the way of life, which is Lord Shri Krishna has defined everybody their path. We have to journey that path. So it is very important. So he said, so what happens to other people in the ashram? They are going to look at you and they'll also be very relaxed. And tomorrow it is very nice to come and talk. People will open their big mouth and talk to me. But the same thing, their mouth will be very shut in front of the gurus. They don't know how to respect. Why? Because they think they can talk to me any which way. Simply because why? I am not disciplined myself, right? Because if I make one mistake, the whole world is there to finger point. So what is here? He's teaching that the Brahmin who has been given that position should be extremely disciplined. So my position is not, this hot seat is not coveted because there is too much responsibility in this hot seat. There is so much more expectation out of me. Like my Krishna Guruji will say, I will not tell anything to the world. They are allowed to make all the mistakes, but you can't make even a single mistake. Remember that. So there is too much of things that I have to do and I have to become a role model. Like my Krishna Guruji is a role model today for all of us and we aspire to be him. That is how I have to become a role model. So what is he saying here? He's saying he has to observe strict discipline, perform all the prescribed rituals as per worthy Vedic injunctions, and his conduct should be a model and example to others. I have to become a model and example to others. So everything that my Krishna Guruji teaches, I have to live those lessons. And if I don't live, then I am not qualified to be sitting here and giving you satsang. I need to first live this lesson myself. That is what is important. And the one who gets chosen has more responsibility. They are given, I have to shoulder that responsibility. So everybody is chosen for a certain purpose. They have their designated job and everybody is perfect in their place. Please understand, nobody is higher, nobody is lower. In the world of the Divine Lord Almighty, we can talk about different castes. Of course, this caste has come from the Lord himself. He's created the Brahmins, the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, the Shudras, and there is also a fifth class, which I am not going to name about. And that class is also created by Lord Shri Krishna. So who are you to question that? Who are you to go against that authority and trying to say, no, this is injustice, this is not? You are nobody. The Divine Lord Almighty has created those classes and he knows why he has done what he's done. The creation is part of him. So you cannot determine how you have to be or what you have to be. You have to only follow the diktats of the Divine Lord. So please understand, and they are all perfect in their places. That is what I'm trying to tell you. So nobody is higher and nobody is lower. In the Divine Lord's high, everybody is perfect in that position of theirs. And that position is determined by the Divine Lord Almighty. And once you are born, wherever you are born, then your future lives determined in the actions that you perform, in the conduct, that the way you behave, the conduct that you have, and how you go ahead in your own life, how good you can be. That determines the future births of yourself. And that is purely depending upon you alone. And that is what he's teaching here. He's very clearly mentioned, So please remember, the caste in which one is born is determined by his past karmas, actions and conduct. So your conduct has to be very good. You cannot do something that's going to degrade yourself and you're going to sanction more, the life which you don't want to live. So why do you want to sanction such a life? So be good, have a good conduct, learn all the good things. You have the privilege of this great master with you. Do not discount this master's presence with you. whether he's present in person or in the subtle form, or whether he's whatever that he in the whatever form. When you have the Guru and the Guru has initiated you, make use of that opportunity to redeem yourself, reach your destination faster. Don't waste time over anybody in this material world. It is not worth it. And his conduct should be a model and example to all others. His daily rituals are for the well-being of all. So what are his daily rituals for? For well-being of this entire universe, the entire world. Not for I, me, myself, oh, I have to be good, my family has to be good. No, that is not the intention. When we pray and worship so that this entire universe is well. They're all good. We pray for the well-being of everyone. It's not just me and my parents or anybody else. That is the truth. What is it saying? His daily rituals, the daily rituals that we do are for the well-being of all. Not just I, me, myself. If this universe is Vasudev Kutumbam. Everybody is your parent. Everybody is your child. Someone said to me this morning, I told him, you are going to be a father soon. You're going to have a child. And then you need to set an example for your son. And then the person tells back to me, oh, yeah, I have only one child, but for you, this entire universe is the child. I said, yeah, that is true. Yes, I have too many children who I don't want. Anyway, that's just jokes apart. So, for that high purpose, the Brahmin has to consecrate his entire life. What has he to do? For that higher purpose, the Brahmin has to consecrate his entire life. His life is surrendered for the well-being for this entire universe. He has to selflessly serve them. He consecrates his life for this universe, for the good of this mankind, humankind. Forget man, it's about humankind. Rather, this entire creation. That was why Brahmins of yore were ranked as equal to gods. And even the rulers, the kings, used to honor them as such. So who are these Brahmins? The Brahmins are the knowers of the Brahman. If a Brahmin fails in the discharge of his ordained duties, he will slide down to birth in the lower caste. Oh my God. And today any Brahmins are there? No, today Brahmins are all become IT people. See, today there are no knowers of Brahma, by the way. The Brahmin caste is not just a class. It is that class doesn't exist. The knowers of Brahma, there is nobody in this planet Earth, on this planet Earth. And then these Brahmins today, they're all IT people. So they've gone against the duty. So do you think the Lord Shri Krishna is going to be happy? In fact, if you go and listen to my Krishna Guruji Satsang, in that he's saying everybody has to do their prescribed duties, born of their caste, nature, everything. Lord has already given, very clearly determined what are the duties. So Brahmin class has given certain things. So where are they? They don't even do anything which is supposed to be followed by a Brahmin. And what happens then? When you do, there's a very beautiful verse in which Lord Shri Krishna says, if you think that you do some other person's job because you can make more money or you're very good at it, and you're not doing the task which is given to you, which is born of your nature or swadharma, then you're actually committing karma. Even though you might be very good in another job. See, he's also said that even if your job doesn't give you money, even if it doesn't give you too much money or whatever, but still okay. But if you continue to do your karma, whatever that comes to you naturally, and that which is effortlessly, if you don't do that, then you're creating more karma for yourself. Then you will not ever attain Shri Krishna. And I know we met somebody from a very beautiful village who for generations, 160 generations, for last 160 years, their grandfather was doing that particular business. Then the father was doing, today the great-grandfather, the grandfather, the father, and today the son, though they are highly educated, are still doing that is which their family tradition. And that is when the Lord is going to bless such people, because they are doing their karma, they are on the path of karma yoga. Yoga through karma means what? Union with the divine through the duties, performing their karma, born of this in their nature and where they are born. And today, though they have highly educated, but they have not given up. That is what is very important. And that is what is even being explained over here. So that was why Brahmins of yore were ranked as equals to gods. And even the rulers, that's kings, used to honor them as such. If a Brahmin fails in the discharge of his ordained duties, he will slide down to birth in the lower caste. So who's the Brahmin who's going to become? He's going to slide himself into the lower caste. Apart from the duties ordained, there are also actions prohibited. Oh my God, okay, this is more dangerous. It's getting further tougher. Prohibited actions. So let us understand what this is all about. If a Brahmin indulges in any of the prohibited actions, he gets born in the lower caste, or even as an animal, or maybe even as a lowly creature. Guru Nanak listed many acts of omissions and commissions which cause a Brahmin to be born as a Chandala. Why does a Brahmin will become a Chandala is very well listed here. So Guru Nanak is going to teach us what are the acts of omission and commissions. He told the Matanga that because he ill-treated his parents in previous life, he was born as Chandala in this life. He ill-treated his parents in previous life, and that is why he is born as a Chandala in this life. See, there are certain things you cannot do. You have to, there are duties. Father, mother, we say yes, they are bodies. They have given birth to this body. You have certain duties. That is all you have to do. It's not about getting attachment, but you as a son have to do your duty. And if you don't do your duty, then what happens? He told the Matanga that because he ill-treating your parents is not allowed. His parents in his previous life, he was born as a Chandala in this life. Among the many sins listed, which caused the downfall of men, Durgati, in contrast to Sadgati. Durgati means bad cause, which is a bad event. Especially of the Brahmins, the following are some, and this is for whom? Especially for the Brahmins. Very important to know. Let us know what those qualities are. Forsaking the Guru and the parents and ill-treating them. Oh my God, that's the first very important thing. Forsaking the Guru and the parents and ill-treating them. You cannot forsake a Guru. Please remember. Okay, forget about the Brahmin. This is for anybody. Those who have the Gurus, one thing you need to understand. You cannot forsake your Guru. And if you ever do that, that is the greatest sin you will ever encounter. And you will ever incur as well. A sin that you never want to commit. And then there is no redemption after that. And then you have to suffer even more terribly for that particular sin. In fact, in one of the earlier chapters, we did a para in which the Narasimha Saraswati has very, very clearly explained what are the do's and don'ts with respect to a Guru. How do you treat him? What are the things you should not do is very well explained, and how should you treat your master has also been very well described. You can go listen to my earlier satsang. It's very, very important. And here it is again emphasis on the fact that you cannot forsake your Guru, come what may. Once you have accepted someone to be your Guru, you cannot forsake him. And then what? Ill-treating them. Ill-treating your parents or your Guru is a great sin. You cannot ill-treat your Guru. Don't think you can talk in whatever way, whichever way. You cannot do that. See, the mind is going to come. You think your master is he's against you. He's trying to do something to you, but he's only doing good to you. He's just, making you overcome your tendencies, the inherent nature, your mind, so that you can attain the spiritual perfection and you can have God realization. And sometimes you will feel that your Guru is always partial with someone. Actually, he's not. He's never partial. But that's not how it appears. In fact, in a very beautiful chapter in Srimad Bhagavatam, Kunti says this. And she also says in another very beautiful thing. She says to Lord Shri Krishna, the world thinks that you're partial with everybody. But the truth is, they don't understand that you're not partial to anyone. On the contrary, you are equal to everybody. You do everything that is right for them. But the world, nobody can understand you. It is so painful. And then she also says, Krishna, you know what she says? Please bless me so that I can have she asks for more troubles in her life. Give me more troubles. She's not telling remove my troubles. The only person who says to Lord Shri Krishna, saying, Lord Shri Krishna, give me more troubles so that I can always keep thinking about you. How beautiful it is. Just the way she explains brings tear to our eyes. But what are we asking God? We don't want troubles. I don't know why I have to go through this. Every day we feel miserable, whether it is at work or something else. We don't want to live. But remember, those are there so that you can evolve. The Divine Lord knows why it is important for you to go through that. We feel it is very painful at that moment. But many years ago, many years later, when you look back, you will be able to connect the dots. But at that moment in time, it appears too painful. And there's a very beautiful chapter about Kunti and Lord Shri Krishna. And she's having this conversation with him. She says, give me more troubles. Can anybody ask for that? Nobody will want to ask. I don't want trouble. That's the first thing. We don't want to suffer. We don't want any troubles. And in fact, if you go listen to my Krishna Guruji's Uddhav Gita Satsang last weekend, in that he said, till the time you are not treated badly, till the time you are not being made feel like a worm, abused or insulted and called names, and till then you will not attain spiritual perfection. Why is this important? It is important because you have to overcome the ego. We always like to be praised. People should acknowledge us. People should say, oh, your sari is nice. Oh, your jewelry is nice. You're looking so beautiful. Is that really an important thing? So your mind is always expecting someone has to compliment you. But the same mind, if somebody insults you, it doesn't like it. Why? Because it's always something good and bad, right and wrong. No, but why should it affect you? Are you this body? No. See, please remember, each one of us in our own, when you come on the path of spiritual, your relatives, your friends, everybody, walks out of your life. You become a nobody. And what is that? Yes, you are not the body. That is who you become. For you to become, you are not that body, you have to go through that insult, abuse, whatever. People will not respect you, they will not treat you nicely. Are you capable of handling all of that? Should it even matter? Should somebody acknowledge you? It's a very stupid thing that happened. 2 weeks ago, I met someone from this body's family. And at that time, it was an expectation that this person is going to say something and to that effect. But the person never reacted. Why? Because that was my mind's expectation. And that is exactly not going to happen. Why? Because my mind is expecting that I have to hear something like that. So who's trying to expect? And then I realized, yes, this lesson was very nicely explained in the Uddhav Gita. Why should somebody tell you are somebody great or acknowledge? The same people who thought great about you or your Guruji today are talking badly. But does it even matter? Does them telling anything change who my Guruji is or who I am? Of course not. But to become that divine being, you have to go through, you have to overcome your mind. And it doesn't matter. How should it matter? That is exactly what my Guruji says. You are the Paramatma. And Atma is not concerned with what happens. It doesn't react. There is no reaction. It's only a witness. It is just there. Atma is God, is love, is knowledge, is. The moment there is a reaction, then it is not God, then it is not love, the real divine, divinity. They don't react. You don't have to react to anything. You don't have to respond. That is why we say the only way to overcome the karma is by being your good self, by not reacting, by not responding to anything that is happening, whether it is good or bad. You need to understand it's just in the material world, which is meant to be. There is no need for any of this reaction. And please remember, and I'll give you, sorry, I think we are already at the end of that, but I will continue this chapter tomorrow, and I'll give you a very beautiful example in my own world, within my own corporate journey. There was a point in time I aspired that I have to get, we have this performance reviews, and this performance reviews you are going to be rated based on which you will get your salary increment and every year. Now I believe that my performance reviews were determined based on what I have done. But what I didn't understand is that it is always going to be biased because it is in my manager's way of looking at it. So does it mean that I have performed very well or not performed? It depends on how the evaluation happens. Many a time the system is, it doesn't matter what the system says, the parameter is, but it's the individual who's going to give you that assessment. But that is based on the individual's assessment about you. And I recently was trying to understand the success. See, in the material world, the success is actually determined in terms of wealth, the amount of wealth you have, or the name, fame, recognition, whatever. Please remember, success is never that. Nobody can judge what is right for you and what is the success or the level of success or failure in you. How successful you are or how much capable or how much you have been able to achieve is never understood. So success is not that. And this is something can never be understood from a material worldly perspective, because in the material world, success means equaling to wealth, name, fame, recognition, number of cars, number of houses. That is how the material worldly success is determined. But the real success, according to the scriptures, is very different. So when this understanding, the truth that you understand, then you know everything is futile. Then it doesn't matter what the end result is. Then you're only going to do your duty, serve and perform to your highest ability, because you know at the end of the day, whatever that result you have to get and who's ranking you is that all Lord Almighty. You're reporting to Lord Shri Krishna, not to any of these human beings around. But in the material world, yes, you have to respect that individual's position and you have to just do and be the best at your job. Be whatever you're doing, you have to give that best shot. There are no two ways about that. So that is what you need to understand. So the success is also never understood by us. What is the meaning of the true success? So with that, we'll stop here. I will continue tomorrow from where we stopped. Once again, thank you for joining the Guru Charitra Parayan. Wishing you all a very happy Thursday, happy Guruvar. Om Shri Mahaganapate Namaha, Om Shri Gurudev Datta, Om Shri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Digambara Digambara, Shripad Vallabha Digambara. Om Shri Krishna Guru Nathanatha, Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Devi Durgaya Namaha, Om Shri Krishna Arpanam Namastu. Krishnam Vande Jagat Guru.